All right, kiddos. So today we're talking about types of energy and basically what happens to energy, because energy is really all around us at all times, but it takes many different forms. So you can think of energy like when you're on a roller coaster and you're going up the hill and it's really slow and it's click, 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 and then there's the pause at the top and then you go rushing down, right? And so you've got some different energies happening there. At the beginning, you're doing a lot of, mechanical energy as the thing is going up, but then energy also gets stored, and that energy is used when it drops you down. So we see these transformations in energy in all sorts of technology, even with our cell phones. We see it also in nature. Plants take solar energy from the sun and they turn it into chemical energy when they do photosynthesis and they use it as food, right? And then we also take that energy when we eat plants. And so we're going to kind of really be looking at those different things. Some like instances where energy is going to change would be like when you hit a baseball, energy is going to change there. When you turn on a light, energy changes there. If you're riding a bicycle or brushing your teeth, energy is changing there. When you're eating, energy is changing. Those are all examples of energy that's changing around you. So there are really two types of energy that we classify things in. So we have potential energy and we have kinetic energy. So kinetic energy is literally just the energy of motion. The word kinetic actually means that something is moving, so that can kind of help you remember that kinetic is motion. Potential energy is stored energy. So potential energy is energy that can be used for motion, but it's not being moved yet. So potential energy turns into kinetic energy. Potential means something's possible, right? So we have kinetic that means movement. We have potential that means possible. So they can take a lot of different forms. Potential energy is usually either chemical, elastic, nuclear, or gravitational. And then kinetic energy is solar, thermal, mechanical, electrical, light, and sound. Those are all their different positions. Like some examples of those things changing back and forth would be like, okay, we know that solar energy is a form of light, right? So that's the light energy. It's also called radiant energy. So plants take that sun's energy, kind of like I talked about a second ago. They take that light energy and they turn it into chemical energy when they do photosynthesis. And then we eat it. And when we eat it, it ends up becoming like mechanical energy when we use that stored energy to then go play basketball, or even sound energy when we use that energy that we get from that plant to then talk to each other. So it can definitely change. Our cell phones take chemical energy from the batteries and turn it into sound energy when it rings. Our lights, they take light energy when we turn it on and it becomes like thermal energy, and it lights up the dark bedroom. When we are brushing our teeth, we're taking stored energy and turning it into mechanical energy as we like move our hands around. So those are just some examples of energy and the ways that it can change from potential to kinetic and kinetic to potential. So our main points here, we really don't have a lot. This one's a really short kind of activity. But what happens when energy changes form? Basically, the energy, when it's converted from one form to another, no energy is lost, but sometimes it can be converted to many different forms. And what happens to stored energy? Stored energy can be released later. So those are really our main points to this lesson, and I hope it helps.